Hello everyone. Uh, Many people are interested usually in what's the strategy for UPSC CSE preparation. However, today I'll be talking about something that I believe is more important than strategy. That is the philosophy behind the preparation. And I believe once you have a good idea about this, that what's the base fundamental idea of why you are preparing, and everything else becomes much easier after that if you have your foundation clear. So today I Rishabh Kumar Rewar, I got rank 104 this year. I'll give a brief introduction of myself. I am a graduate in civil engineering from IT Delhi. I graduated last year in 2020 and my option was geography. So today these are largely the broad topics on which I'll be discussing. The first is the idea of why, what, and how, and the order of priority in which I have written them. So this was an idea given by Simon Sinek, I believe, and once you're sure as to why you're doing it, what and how come fall naturally. Secondly, I'm dealing with the phases of this examination broadly per se, not the phases we know of prelims, mains, and interview, rather the phases of the whole journey you'll be taking or undergoing during these years of UPSC preparation. Thirdly, I'll be dealing with three essentials that I believe one should always consciously keep in mind and try to hone them so that this journey becomes smooth and relatively easy. And fourthly, I'll be touching on the aspect of mental health, which I believe is very important for this exam, especially for the aspirants who have been continuing in this for many years. And it is one topic that I believe is largely missing from the course of common discussion in the UPSC CSE forums. And I believe it also has a very strong linkage with the philosophy behind why you are preparing for UPSC. So let's not waste any time and let's move on. The idea of what, why, what, and how. It's basically that you need to first understand why you are doing something. What's your inherent motivation? Once you're clear as to why you want to prepare for UPSC CSE, what is your motivation? Once you know what you'll be getting after you go through this journey, things will become easier in the sense that whenever there's a, a low phase, whenever you hit a roadblock, whenever you see a dead end, to overcome that, to find an alternate way, to lift yourself up when you are down, to improve your what I would say efficiency, performance, stamina, everything at the core of it is why you are doing that. So many people, including I'm a culprit of it myself, that throughout most of my journey, I wasn't aware of why I was doing what I was doing. I was just doing it because I wanted to get into this XYZ service. I wanted this course of career. But why do you want that course of career? Why do you want to get into this service? Is it worth spending these many number of years of the prime of your youth to get into that field of job? And if it is worth, how do you plan on prioritizing it before everything else? And before that, is it the right way to prioritize this before everything else in your life, etc., etc.? There are many related questions, and I'll urge you all to ponder on this, because once you're clear as to why it is, why you are doing what you are doing, how and what will come naturally, and we move towards that as we progress through this video, this discussion. Second is the idea of what you are doing, right? And the what's and how's I'll be covering in detail in other videos as well. But largely it's about what do you need to do to get there, get where you want to do, and what is the process of getting there. Both of these things are very dynamic, very subjective, very flexible and prone to change. They they are something, these are something that depend from, subject to subject, the topic at hand that you're studying to, some other topic. Different phases of the examination, from it is different for prelims, different for mains, different for interview, etc. However, the core of why you're doing this, I believe, always remains the same, and that is what I want you to think a bit more about. Secondly, we move toward the four, I believe, phases of what you are doing throughout these years, be it for any part of the exam, be it prelims, mains, or interview. And these phases are, I believe, largely the phase of the aspect of planning. So a good plan is, a work half done. So the more you invest in planning for what you're doing, and how do you want to do it, uh, whether the plan you have made is designed in such a way that it will get you where you want to do, where you want to go, whether the plan you have made is customized to your needs, is customized to your limits, is customized the way you believe you can function or perform for the next 2 or 3 years for which you have to, continue that plan. So these are the things that make a these are the things that make a plan your plan, right? You can't follow someone else's plan and expect that you will sail through this examination. It should be your own plan. And to make your own plan, you first need to know yourself. And to know yourself, we go back to the first thing as to why you're doing what you're doing and how and what you want to do, right? I'll be discussing the whole idea of planning and time and management of preparation, your timeline, etc. in a separate video. However, this is largely the essence of it. Second part is the preparation part of this journey. So once you have planned, you have to execute that plan, and execution here is what we call preparation for the UPSC CSC examination, right? In preparation, what you need to do is you need to stick to a plan, you need to execute it, you need to course correct in the way where if you feel you are not going toward the right direction, you need to be consistent with performing those plans. You need to, I'll go back to an analogy here, where in respect of preparation and practice of the plan, the it is said that many times, even I felt it, that we never move beyond the hypothetical fourth gear of our being whenever we are pursuing something. This is based on the assumption that there are, let's say, total 5 gears. We are even at our usual peaks, we are at our fourth gear, because somewhere in us there's an inherent fear that if you are at fifth gear and if you have given it our all literally, and if things don't work out the way they should have worked out, what will you do next? So there's this subconscious fear that once you have exhausted all your options, you will face a dead end, a wall, and you won't have any other option but to go back, but to return back. And that's why we always keep a fail safe with us, that okay, मैं मैं अपनी ये एक दो टेस्ट कम दे दूंगा, मैं इट्स फाइन अगर मैंने 2-3 टॉपिक्स छोड़ दिए, इट इज़ फाइन अगर मैंने वर्ल्ड हिस्ट्री इस बार नहीं पढ़ा, नेक्स्ट टाइम ये देखेंगे, समथिंग लाइक दैट. So there's always this, small compromise, a small fail safe somewhere in between, inside us, that urges us to, to keep something for the next time. What I'd like you to, follow during these preparation and practice phases, which I'll be, expanding on later, is that you should move in your fifth gear, right? Because compromising even a little bit in an examination on the scale of UPSC civil services exam can have very bad repercussions, right? Because 10 lakh people sign up for the exam, 700-800 get selected, out of which even 10% of them, get the service of their choice. So this is a very cutthroat competition, where if you are compromising with yourself even at one point, you might be jeopardizing the result that you want, right? Third part is again practice. So once you have done something, you have planned for something, you have done it. The next part is to repeat it again and again and again and again. Find out what are your flaws. Find out where you are going wrong. Understand, more importantly, understand where you are going right, so that you can repeat it again and strengthen it. Repeat it to the extent that it becomes a second nature per se. So, for example, I'll give the answer or I'll take the example of answer writing. So what I personally used to do was I had given a lot of tests. I gave almost 60 to 70 mains tests throughout my preparation, and many of those tests, almost 45, were between prelims and mains during these 3 months, that these 90 days that we get. The whole idea was I should be so used to writing answers that I used to have, I must have this level of practice that if a question comes in the exam of which I have no clue, मैंने वो क्वेश्चन कभी सुना भी नहीं हो, तो भी आई शुड हैव this standard or this level of structuring and writing an answer, that I can write a decent one and a half page answer to that, and if I get 2 out of 10 on that, that will be a win for me. So that must be something that you can keep in mind while you are practicing anything. For another example is prelims mock tests. My idea was to overkill in all of these mock tests, be it prelims, mains, or interview. I gave around 160 prelims mock tests. So the whole idea was that I'll practice this so much that there are minimal, or in an ideal case, no surprises in the examination. So I think that is something that you can consider following. And lastly, it's the aspect of performance. By performance, I mean what do you do on the D day, on the day of the examination, in the examination hall. What do you do then, so as to get the result that you want? Planning, preparation, and practice, these all happen in the background. It is how you perform on that day that decides how many marks that you're getting. I'll discuss the performance part, the D-Day part, completely in a different video. Moving on is the idea of essentials. So I believe there are largely three essentials. By essentials, I mean things that you must be aware of or you must know, things where you cannot compromise. So these things are a must, in the sense that if you have a solid grip on what's your motivation, why you're doing it, if you have a solid understanding of yourself, that you have a belief that you can do it, and thirdly, if you are consistently doing it, I don't think there's any reason that that you are not going on the right path. I don't think there's any reason that you might not get the result that you're looking for, right? So let me expand on these ones a bit briefly. So the first idea is of it links back to the same topic of why you're doing what you were doing. So here's an example of how motivation works. You've been preparing for prelims. The last 2 months are left before prelims. You have given 6 mock tests in the past week, and you're seeing that your scores are dipping. You have been studying very hard, but your scores are decreasing. You used to get 110, and now gradually in the last test that you gave, you are getting 85 marks, or you are getting 80 marks, and you think that the exam is coming near. I've been putting in more and more effort. However, I'm not getting the results that I want. What should I do? Am I doing something wrong? How do I identify what I'm doing is correct or not? I am somewhere inside, a part of me is losing spirit that मेरे बस का नहीं है, I am not made for this. Somewhere inside I am feeling that okay, the competition is so huge. मेरे साथ साथ there are 10 lakh people who are studying, who are preparing, who are getting better marks than me, and then it leads to a downward spiral in us that okay, I need a break. एक टीवी सीरीज स्टार्ट कर लिया, binge watch the series, lost 2 days, feeling more bad about yourself, getting into that guilt trap of a negative feedback kind of thing, that you're not studying but you're feeling bad that you're not studying, and that you're not enjoying yourself, rather, because when you're watching that TV series or a movie, there's something going on in your brain, that all that stress about the examination, and you're not even getting a break or a refreshment by watching that series. So in these moments, it is your motivation, that why you want to do something, that what is it that you set out for when you began this journey. What was the, I would say, what was the dream that you thought, that I want to get here, I want to be this kind of an officer, I would like to do this once I become an XYZ officer, I would like to bring these changes. This is wrong with the way things are done in our country. This is how I can improve the way things are. This is how I can contribute to my nation building, etc., etc. This is how I believe it will help me in personal growth. So all of these things are why you set on this why you started this journey. And then you should be very clear that the dream I had on day one should only strengthen uh, by the day when you are feeling this bad, right? You are feeling this low. The dream has strengthened. It should not weaken. And that's why I said that the whole idea of having a very strong motivation is that when you are low, it is that motivation that helps you pick up. Nothing else will help you pick up. Someone else might come and say, okay, you're great, and you can qualify, and it's not that big of a deal. You, somewhere inside you, you will know that this might not be right. But when that voice comes from within you, from the why aspect of your preparation, that is when it clicks and you pick yourself up. You start introspecting where things are going wrong. You start preparing, etc., etc. Right. So that is one thing. Second is self belief. Again, why I believe this is so essential for the examination is that there's this there is a sense of doubt in all of us that this exam is a little larger than life. It's seen as something out of a mythological story, something only a hero can do. Someone who's special, someone who has given 14 hours a day studying for 3 years, who only they can get through this examination and get great marks and get the service they want, etc., etc. But that is actually not true. Self belief here means that you can crack the examination, that you have what it takes, and third, that you are willing to give what it takes. So once you are very clear that okay, I am good enough, okay, I can do it, the whole the many number of phases that come in this examination where we start doubting ourselves that maybe I'm not made for this, that what I'm doing is maybe not right, I'm feeling confused, should I follow my friend's the friend A's advice, or should I follow my friend B's advice? Okay, that teacher said to do X, someone my parents are saying to do Y. Somewhere in between you feel okay, नहीं हो पा रहा, maybe I'll just skip this attempt and give the next attempt, maybe I'll do something better then. No, you won't. You need to have a strong belief in yourself before you are starting this journey, that you can do it, and you can do it the way you are, right? You don't have to drastically change yourself to become something that you are not. The way you are today, you can do it, and once you have absorbed this in the core of your core, you will realize that okay, things are not as difficult as I made them out to be, right? Last is the aspect of consistency. So this is again one thing that I realized while I was preparing for 2.5, 3 years, is that you don't have to prepare intensively for one day or 1 week. You have to prepare averagely throughout a long period of time. You have to give average number of hours throughout extended periods of time. You have to give your 70% throughout the next 2 3 years. You don't have to push yourself to your limits every day. No. So that is where consistency comes in, because you know we all are built in a way, or personally I believe that I was more comfortable in putting a lot of effort at once, and I can't continue it for longer periods because I just lose that focus, lose that initial motivation I had. All of these things lead to our preparation being derailed, lead to our preparation getting hazy, confused. आज ये पढ़ लिया, ओके अब कल मन नहीं कर रहा तो कल कुछ और पढ़ लिया, and you're not moving anywhere in one particular direction. And that's why you need to have this, you need to understand the importance of consistency in this examination. It is, and how does consistency come into play, how do you bring in consistency, is again related to the previous 2 points in the essentials. It is understanding a strong motivation and having a strong sense of belief in yourself. Once you have these, there may come moments where you're not feeling like you want to study, you're not feeling that आज रहने देते हैं, बहुत टाइम से पढ़ रहे हैं, अभी और नहीं पढ़ा जा रहा. Take a break. It's not that big of a deal. Take a break for 2 days, take a break for 3 days, come back into studies, and study more efficiently. So that is, consistency here is seen in the long term of 3 years. You don't have, consistency is not seen in a span of a week. If you take a break for 2 days, it doesn't mean that you have been inconsistent. No, but if you take that break of 2 days, after every 2 days, that is when things become a little problematic. So I believe that this point is fairly understood. Moving on is the idea of the last topic of today's discussion or video is the aspect of mental health. So why do I feel this is important is that the examination of UPSC CSE has certain traits that induce anxiety, uncertainty, self-doubt, a lot of stress, etc. So what are those features? Are firstly is the randomness of the whole examination process, that there might come a question out of the blue in prelims that no one had expected. Like last year, this year there was a question on international the World Test Series of cricket. So there's a lot of randomness in the questions that comes in, and it brings a lot of uncertainty. So for the people who are preparing next year, they'll start preparing sports questions now also, and next year they won't give any sports questions. So that is how the exam is, and that uncertainty is present in all phases, like in all stages of the exam, be it prelims, mains, or interviews. Somewhere in between, there's a lot of randomness. Second is the idea of there's a binary in the result, that either you get the service that you want, you're successful, or you don't get the service you want, or that your name is not in the list, you are unsuccessful. So this whole binary of win all, lose all adds to a lot of stress in our minds, because just before the results there are a lot of things going on. I'll have to repeat all of it again if I'm not successful, go through all the stages of prelims, mains, interview again. I had put in so much effort, now I'll have to wait, I'll have to do it throughout 1 year more. One more year of my life is getting used up in this process. So it's the binary result is something that adds to the uncertainty. Thirdly is the idea of the lack of any feedback throughout the whole process. So it is only at the end of the stage that we get to know that whether we have made it or not. You don't get to know how you are doing throughout this process, throughout the preparation part. You can know that by mock tests and etc. However, that doesn't give the exact complete picture. And add to that the fact that the exam is so complex. There's such a wide and dynamic syllabus. There's something. There's a lot of vagueness in the process. So that adds to all the stress, right? So there are a few things that I need you to understand so that you can focus a lot on your mental health, especially the rising anxiety and stress levels. First is the importance of peer group. It is your friends, it is your family, it is the people who are going through what you are going through can understand you, can help lift you up when you are down. So I'll recommend everyone to discuss with each other what's going on, whether you're feeling uncertain about the future, whenever you are feeling a lot of stress, self-doubt that I can't do it, मेरे से नहीं हो रहा, whenever you feel that you're on the verge of a burnout or a breakdown, you need to be open. Don't enclose yourself in a shell. Talk to your friends, because once you talk to them, you'll realize, okay, they are going through the same thing, right? And once you talk to each other, things become a little easier. That there's a sense of confidence that everyone is going through that level of uncertainty and anxiety. Second is the aspect of the analogy of a bell curve. So what do I mean by this is that everything, the difficulty level of everything follows a bell curve with time. And what do I mean by that is, initially things look a lot difficult, right? So after a point of time, once you reach a peak, post that things become a little easier. You start understanding, okay, what's going on. Things start getting consolidating. You see better results, etc., etc. So the whole pressure part, the whole largely the whole phase of the preparation before you reach that peak is the one which has, the largest amount of struggle. And as they say, the night is darkest before the dawn. It is actually true in this bell curve analogy, because it is most difficult just before you have reached that peak. After that, it's a downward slope. So understand that things are not going to be difficult throughout. They get easier, things get sorted, it becomes simple after some time. When does that time come? It depends on you and a lot of other factors. Third is the idea of a positive feedback loop. It is that once you are rewarded for your efforts consistently during the preparation, the motivation levels, the self belief, increases. And a big example of this is your mock test scores. If you see that your mock test scores are increasing, that your rank is improving, that you're getting better and better with each test and with each week and each day, you feel more like, okay, yeah, now things are in control. I want to study more. I want to push more. I want to get a better rank. I want to get an even better score. So the whole idea is, once this positive feedback loop is induced, it will push you more towards putting in more effort. So that is one thing that you need to consciously understand and look towards to, right? Fourth is the idea of everyone's in the same boat, and this is related to the idea of peer group. It is that you are not alone when you are undergoing that anxiety, that uncertainty. You are not alone. Everyone else is in the same boat as you, and you just need to reach out and talk to them and understand that, okay, yeah, this is how things are actually meant to be. The stress, the anxiety, the uncertainty, to some extent, is a part of this process. I'm not saying that it is good that you are going through it. No, it is not good. But to some small extent, it is natural, because the exam is designed in such a way, right? Fifth is the idea of time management. I'll be discussing this in a separate session in detail as well. However, it is that once you are following the plan that you have made, if you are following it correctly, and if you are not wasting time somewhere else, you'll see that things are improving. The emotional and mental burden will start decreasing once you are appropriately using your time. I'll expand on this in a different session. And lastly is the idea of Batman. So I've been a Batman fan throughout my childhood, and there's one thing that differentiates Batman from everyone else, because Batman is a human being, and he's competing and fighting superheroes, supervillains, aliens, god level creatures, etc. How does he do that? Batman is always prepared. Batman has a plan A, plan B, plan C, a contingency for plan C, a backup for that contingency, etc., etc. So I want you to be prepared for everything. I want you to be prepared that, okay, there's gonna be a lot of uncertainty. Okay, there'll be a lot of anxiety. Okay, there'll be people who will get better marks than me despite putting in less effort. There'll be people. There'll be times where I've studied a lot, but I won't be getting that result. So if you're mentally prepared for what's gonna happen, for the worst, if you're mentally prepared for the worst, nothing can surprise you. and if nothing can surprise you, you'll be able to deal with that quite easily, right? So there's this idea of Murphy's law that says that if something bad can happen, it'll happen basically. So it sounds very pessimistic, but you should see it as a way of being prepared for the worst. And once you're prepared, things somehow fit into place and the worst happens. And fortunately, many times the worst doesn't happen, right? So that would be all for today's discussion, and I hope it somehow helped you in getting a rough picture of what you need to understand before getting into this journey, or if you have already stepped into the UPSC CSE preparation, what things you can reconsider and things that you can introspect again, so that will help you the times when you are feeling low, or it will help you in times that you are feeling you are not cut out for it, right? I wish you best of luck, and I hope to meet you soon again. Bye bye.